kind of felt like an outsider in the church. Um, I don't really know how to explain it deeper than that, but I didn't really feel that deep connect with God. Whereas when I began to practice Ifa, I was able to develop like a deeper connection within myself and see myself, which allowed me to also have a deeper connection with source, you know? So
Right.
it was just a different feeling. That kind of describes my experience. What about you, T?
I would say for me, like growing up, I always felt connected to God. Like I always felt like if I don't know anything else, I can pray. You know what I mean? I can pray to God. Like, you know, that's how I always felt. Because
Right.
if I was in the church, in the mosque, like that's something that I always felt. But I mean, yeah, there was definitely times where I felt kind of like an outsider in the church. Also because we had bounced around to a few different churches, by the way.
Did.
Like
Different styles.
it was different styles.
Right.
So I remember it was like I think we were members of a Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
Our great grandmother, when we would go to Dallas, it was Kojic. And then I remember one time we went to like this hippie style
It was
church.
like free spirit.
Yeah.
So they had the acoustic guitar going.
Yeah. So, you know, but like I always knew I could go to God. But for me, it was that kind of feeling of like, okay, some of this is like, you know, it's like when you ask deeper questions, well, why is it this way? Or why can't I question this? Well, don't question God. You just have to have faith. This is how it is. And that's the part that kind of would confuse me. And then I would say like initially transitioning into Ifa, for me, there was even some resistance with that. Because again, it's like at this age, growing up, seeing my parents, you know, I'm observing and I'm like, you know, maybe a preteen, young teenager. And then by the time we got our hand, you know, it wasn't really like, you know, even my parents, like, I think it probably came down like, okay, it's time for them to get the hand as well. But it wasn't really like presented as an option, I would say.
Right.
But we didn't
which
feel
is
forced.
fine. It also wasn't forced, but it was just kind of like, hey, this is what, you know, we're gonna do. And you know, but again, like we trust our parents. It was never like a